Well, my sweet lady of the morning is here.
This is the second time you're using sweet when you said your sweet colleagues will be live from the University of Ghana, Nancy and Maxwell. What is it with the word sweet?
I didn't say colleagues.
You can talk.
I didn't say colleagues.
Ah, you said what?
Yes.
Sweet
I said,
Nancy and
yes,
and sweet
we have our
Maxwell.
sweets.
Now there's sweet Mama V. Does it even mean anything to you?
Too much. I have a... Charlie, my uncle, you make me tear. So,
all right, good. Good morning. Welcome to our show. If you're just tuning in, we're just about doing the newspapers. Hello, what?
I love the way you look. I just wanted to tell you.
So just say it. Thank you.
I just did, yeah. Sometimes you're not romantic towards me. If it was Kojo, you would have been beaming and all that. I don't know. Maybe because
he would have said it differently. Just go straight to the point and just say it.
Kojo, please come back. They said, I'm told that you say better. I don't know. I just said.
All right, let's do the newspapers. We've got the Daily Graphic, the Daily Guide, the Daily Dispatch, the Times, Gold Street Business. Stop looking at me, Roland.
Oh.
The Observer,
there's a camera,
Herald, and the Finder newspaper, and I think one more if we have the time. Okay, the Daily Statesman newspaper. So let's do the Daily Graphic newspaper. That's the first paper that we're touching on. Front page, chaos. Enraged Awaso Bauxite workers set buildings, vehicles ablaze. I am still trying to soak it in. Things that happened from 3 days ago, setting up vehicles, setting up a whole bungalow on fire. Incredible. And this happened right here in Ghana. What are we turning ourselves into? So you are grieved, you're angry at a situation, and you think that the way forward really is to engage in acts such as these. Very horrifying. Details of that story in the Daily Graphic newspaper. Story from Doche Kobla Akloboto, our one and only friend in Second D, type with the Daily Graphic newspaper. Also, NLA's e-kiosk model to usher Ghana into a full cash life society. Online challenges cause delays in limited registration. Roland will share his experience with us because he was in one of those locations in Jowolo. Also developed strategies to deal with cyber attacks. President cautions African financial institutions. In the center spread of the paper, initiatives to advance science technology study received cabinet approval. Atamel's presidential library rotting away. And story by Timothy Goba in Cape Coast says the John Evans Atamel's Presidential Library, a memorial and research facility in Cape Coast. And there's a picture of that just beneath the story. It was completed and inaugurated about 3 years ago. The report is that it is rotting away. The development stems from the resolve of the contractor who executed the project to hold on to the keys for alleged non-payment for work done. So the keys are in my pockets. I will not release them until I am fully paid, Mr. Kojo Mamfe told the Daily Graphic in Cape Coast yesterday. So when the Graphic visited the facility yesterday, it was firmly under lock and key with flags of the University of Cape Coast and Ghana flying at half-mast on the compound. The UCC security men at the gate would not answer any questions, saying that every question about the project should be directed at the authorities. As a result of the proximity of the multi-million city state-of-the-art facility to the sea, some parts had begun falling off, with the air conditioners and pillars being eaten up by the sea breeze. Heartbreaking.
Yeah, very heartbreaking. Knowing that this is close to the sea, just along the coast, if you know Cape Coast very well, and the state of the library. And I remember when this library was initially inaugurated, so to speak, even though it was not fully completed at the time, but just needed to be, you know, one or two other works to be done and for it to be functional, because it was a bit stocked to be supervised or under the management of the University of Cape Coast. And it's sad that residents or young people in that city would need it and don't have access to it. I keep asking, what are we doing to ourselves?
Well, Let's do the back page of the Daily Graphic News. So some things you simply can't understand, right?
Yeah.
Back page of the paper, government secures funding for water supply systems in Tamale, Damongo, and man 47 dies in gas explosion at New Dowenya. So one person died when gas exploded at a gas filling station at New Dowenya in the Ningo Prampram district in the Greater Accra region about 5:30 a.m. yesterday. The deceased Anthony Ahiabo, 47, was in the office at the Ranel fuel station when the explosion occurred. The body has since been deposited at the Tema General Hospital mortuary. The explosion also caused destruction to structures at the station. Some workers of the station told the Graphic that Ahiabo was allegedly cooking in one of the rooms on the premises when liquefied petroleum gas was being discharged into a reservoir at that station. You can read about the investigations with the story on the back page of the Daily Graphic newspaper. Yeah, I'm just thinking how many of us still respect that rule that says when you go to the fuel station, you put your engine off and you don't use the mobile phone. I'm just thinking out loud. How many of us still respect that? How many of us argue with the fuel attendants? How many fuel attendants look on whilst we do the wrong thing when we get to the fuel station? Just thinking out loud. Roland?
Yeah, so let's go and take a look at the Ghanaian Times. It has on the front page, elimination of double track system, 804 senior high school projects near completion. And so we're hoping that at least we'll see many of the schools. And if you get to page 16 of the paper, you get to read the story in full. And we have other stories still on the front page of the Times. Be circumspect in kidnappings reportage. Foreign Affairs Committee cautions media. We had Samuel Okujato Ablakwa speaking, as well as Frank Anodompre on Joy FM yesterday, as well as on Joy News. Would also ensure success of one constituency, one AstroTurf project, according to the chief executive for the Wembley Sports Complex, Robert Coleman. He's on the front page.
Can I say good morning to Mr. Robert
good morning
Coleman?
To you, Robert Coleman.
And your family. We hope that you guys are doing fantastic.
He's a sweet man.
Yeah. We should, I know that he went on personality profile to talk about, but I should engage him on there. One AstroTurf, is it one constituency?
One constituency, one turf.
Okay,
yes.
All right. We need a turf around our office area. Yeah.
Well, there's one that's not too close from here.
No, I need one here. We use our relationship to develop that.
One.
Yeah,
okay.
So we can get our kids to come here when we're working.
When you're working.
Yeah, let's think about something like that.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. So let's look at just a couple of more stories. We have Ghana will tackle cyber attacks, digital fraud, and the president is assuring on the back page of the Ghanaian Times, Kotoko Chase double dream. They face Ash Gold in the Normalization Committee Tier 2 semi-finals today. Unista Academy, though, in Zima Kotoko clash at Cape Coast. You have up there Richard Osayajima, who plays for Ash Gold on the front page, back page it has to be. Center spread, we have the stories, and we also have Bisakun the reporting of kidnapping stories, and Frank Anodompre has an attached picture there. Let's look at the Daily Guide. 2 Kumasi kidnappers caged. Cabinet approves 233 million euros for Tamale Damongo water project. Ukrainian University honors Frankie J. Don't attack Nigerians and peace. On the back page is all sports. Mama V.
Let's do the Finder newspaper. On the front page of the Finder, profitable business ignored. Guinea fowl farmers cry for help. Also, Cabinet approves 2 major initiatives to boost STEM education, maintain sound balance sheets, PNM to energy sector players. ICGC donates ECT equipment to psychiatric hospitals. That story is on page 10. Okay, so let's see. I thought I would do a bit of the Guinea fowl story before I move to the Daily Statesman newspaper. So the story is on page 4, and it says Guinea fowl farming is an age-old occupation, mostly for smallholder farmers in northern Ghana. Till date, smallholder farmers account for the majority of Guinea fowl farmers. Okay, so this is a piece that we all have to read and reflect on, but I find it rather interesting, even without reading the full feature. Sounds like a feature. It tells you how profitable the guinea fowl business is, but how essentially we have ignored it. So if you're looking for ideas, especially when young persons are encouraged to go into farming or to go into agric, you can look into this area as well. It's in the final newspaper. All right, let's do the Daily Statesman newspaper. Front page of the Daily Statesman. Farewell to CK Tedem, giants of NPP, STEM subject to get big boosts. Stop tagging all Nigerians as criminals. Nigerian High Commissioner tells Ghanaian media. All right, back page, sports. And as always, we'll leave it to the sports team. Well, not as always, but on this day, we'll leave it to the sports team to bring us a lot more sports stories after the review. Let's do the Daily Dispatch newspaper, front page of the Dispatch. So, arbitrator starts work today. Unibank, AG, and Bank of Ghana to appear before Professor Dateba. 33% of men who ejaculate frequently likely to avoid prostate cancer. Roland will find this interesting. Western North Region Minister accuses his deputy of undermining him. Okay, what do you say I do a bit of this story? Because, you know.
No.
Just because you like it.
We've had Dr. Akama.
And for the first time, my director, Fred Potiphar, says, yeah, that would be interesting. He never says that, except when we are doing men ejaculating, you know, something like that. Yeah, so a bit of that. But what is interesting is I can't find the story on page 2. The story is not on page 2.
It's not there?
Yeah, it says 2. And how do you know it's 4?
Go to 4. Is it right?
The men in the studio, they know it's on page 4, even though the thing is advertised and it says page 2 and 11.
Page 4.
Yeah. How do you know it's page 4?
I didn't know. Fred knew. I didn't know. Fred knew.
Oh, they've checked it out already, huh? Okay, so it says men who ejaculate many times a month are 33% less likely to develop prostate cancer, according to studies. 33% is a lot to help men reduce their risk of prostate cancer. This is interesting, but I am only a messenger of the research.
Is that what's stated there?
Yeah, again, I think this is a feature. So there's some of the things, it's too early for me to get into it. So obviously the men are interested. I am directing you. Just grab the
newspaper. Top lawyer link to
check out the research. Yeah. Okay. Oh, just okay. I think that will be it, really. Yeah.
All right, so we have on the front page of the Herald, Ghanaian MPs join Nigerian ambassador in crocodile tears over media report on crimes by Nigerians. We have tag pictures of Speaker of Parliament, Professor Michael Quay, Frank Anodompre, who is the chairman of the Foreign Affairs Committee of Parliament, and Nigerian High Commissioner to Ghana, Ambassador Abikoye. Top lawyer linked to leakage of Tony Letha and Oyeletha's divorce papers. Coming up, it says. Board and BOG ignore deputy GCB. Okay. GCB Bank MD's age cheating. Ken Oferiatta begs Israelis out of Stefan National Cathedral. And those will be the stories we have. The Observer has a story. NDC's no contribution, no chop plan, dangerous, pious. And Pius Ajide is a Deputy Information Minister. Nigeria High Commissioner fires media over xenophobic tendencies, in quotes, have the potential to mar Ghana-Nigeria relations. Cabinet okays 2 major initiatives to boost education. 300 dams and 1V, 1D project, that's one village, one dam project progresses smoothly, and private lotto operators balls backstop award. So all the stories we have. Mama V, I want to make a top of the pick. Okay, the Gold Street business. The Gold Street business has on the front page, Bank of Ghana denies imminent mass liquidation of RCBs, and RCBs are rural and community banks. And PRC uncertain on new tariffs timeline, says process needs time. And Ghana's processed cocoa export market expanding. New export markets also have been identified according to the Gold Street business. Okay.
So my pick is Moses' story on the front page of the Daily Graphic newspaper, the banner headline really. 2 days of protest by workers of the Ghana Bauxite Company at Awaso in the Western North region has resulted in massive destruction of company properties. You see that, Fred, unless we have the stories that you want to show, let people appreciate what's on the front page of the Daily Graphic newspaper. So the mayhem stemmed from a long-running disagreement between the management and workers over the latter's conditions of service. Many enraged workers went on the rampage, setting vehicles, presidential and office buildings ablaze. The development has resulted in the closure of the company. The violence, which started last Monday, degenerated into incessant attacks on the properties yesterday after the general manager of the company, who had just returned from China, allegedly threw all the agreed terms in the ongoing negotiations overboard. The Chinese managers of the company escaped in the course of the protest, while the Ghanaian human resource manager also managed to escape to an unknown location with his family through the bush. As of midday yesterday, the angry workers had blocked roads to and from the town. Eyewitnesses told the Daily Graphic that more than 7 offices, including the Human Resource Department and adjoining offices, were burned. The story goes on to tell us about the vehicles that were set ablaze, the salary disputes, colossal damage, very detailed accounts in the Daily Graphic newspaper. But I tell you what, this picture, this is... maybe you can see it on page 3. And it's some of the buildings set ablaze by the aggrieved workers. So workers with a mining company, they have issues, and they have quite a number of issues. When you listen to them outline their issues, they have issues with salaries. They are saying that they have other offices where other people are paid better than them, even though they're doing the same kind of work. They have very reasonable concerns, except that the way they're going about it in terms of the issues haven't been addressed, and so we're this much angry and we decide to take this action. That is what really we all have to condemn. No worker must destroy anything, not even a bicycle, because you're angry because of something which has to do with work.
Definitely.
Yeah. And then you burn somebody's house.
Yes, and there's a reason why you're raising all the concerns and so agitating. It is because you want to draw attention to your plight. Now, if you go to the extent of undertaking actions that will result in distraction, and indeed have resulted in distraction, it also means that already the opportunity for you to be able to dialogue, you've closed it.
Yeah.
And you even close all means and gateways for you to get public sympathy by way of the perception and the opinion for which you were raising all the concerns you had.
I mean, we're talking about it today. We're not zeroing in on the concerns that they raised. We're talking about the distraction. Because this is something that you have to condemn.
And you have to know that in this current age in which we are, information and the way information has traveled tend to play a critical role in achieving a certain objective or goal. If we tend to ignore that, then it means that in the line of the communication or the communication process, we've cut off a certain section of it. It also means that you will not achieve that goal or objective.
Yeah.
Now look, we have all this dominating the headlines. They should sit back, do some introspection and ask themselves, on hindsight, if we look at how this has degenerated into a lack of proper dissemination of whatever the outcome of their actions were, would they have done this? They wouldn't have. Now, who addresses your concerns now?
Now the company is also shut. It means that no worker is working.
It doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Not at all. Despite all the things that may have been perpetrated, allegedly, you being raised or you were raising, now you get no public sympathy.
Yeah.
When people protest over roads, etc., and do the threatening of government over they're not going to vote for government, etc., it is the public sympathy that tends to draw the attention of the state to their plight.
Yeah. This is
it's so
is
unfortunate
total
that
chaos,
they have to do this. Yeah.
and this is condemnable. I mean, nobody would empathize with you because of the challenges that you have. Because you never do this. And listen, we all have issues. Ask one worker who is totally excited about their job. Everybody has one issue or the other, but we don't go around burning down vehicles and houses because we're angry with the people who employed us over conditions of service. You don't do that. Well, the police is investigating this. What is sad, though, is the fact that they haven't arrested anybody. Obviously, because they got to the scene after the vehicles had been set ablaze in the house as
vandalized,
well. But I listened to the police officer in charge of the area.
Yeah.
I can't remember his name, but he sounded very confident, and I have confidence in. He spoke on Joy FM yesterday on Newsnight, and I'm confident in the things that he said. So we will see. In the meantime, workers are home, companies shut down, and then what have you gained by the things that you did by way of the distraction? Exactly. Yeah.
I want to just have some 2 minutes and raise all the issues about the 804 senior high school project that are nearing completion, and ultimately that will have a certain linkage to when
the double track,
when we tend to end the double track system, because I have a ward. A niece who is in Ghana National, and so is going through the double track system, and I can see the frustration that she goes through when she has to come and sit home for all these long weeks waiting for.
She's not doing extra classes because but most of them, in fact, I think all of them are doing extra classes. There was a parent who was complaining that they pay more now because of the extra classes.
Yes, and they are doing extra classes, but it is also about the time that they have to spend at home, and you not being with the child, not knowing whether the child is adhering to all the rules and regulations you set at home, and whether you're going to have the right supervision for that child. Even in addition to what you're spending alongside. And it's a cost and a burden to the parent. And we're hoping that this will be completed in time, and then we'll have an end to the double track system in many of the schools, as we've seen.
I had a conversation with Angel Kabono, I think sometime last month.
Of Nagrat.
Yes, of Nagrat. But we talked about him as a father who has a daughter who is also tracking. And he outlined same sentiments, you know.
Well, before you come in, I just wanted to run this by you. Elvis Darko is the managing editor for The Finder. And he sent this to me. And we know that we've been reporting and having all these inserts and refrain about so-called 7 million Nigerians in Ghana. It cannot be possible. At the last housing and population census, there were 124,653 Nigerians living in Ghana. And that was done about 9 years ago, 2010. And now, if that is the population, and we had a growth of 5 million, okay, and our population now is about 30 million, definitely it cannot be true.
Well, I listened to a member of parliament say we have 7 million Nigerians living in Ghana and about 2 million living in Nigeria, as in Ghanaians in Nigeria. So this is coming from a member of parliament. But I appreciate the logic.
Yes.
Okay.
Is it logic? Statistics?
Well, statistics, but you use logic to draw a certain conclusion, because we haven't done any census. This was from 9 years, and you're using the build-up from that.
True. Even though the census also is counting, we also tend to do estimates or some projections as well.
Well, let's use the minute that we have to either go to myjoyonline.com or we do the weather. Which one
is possible?
Exactly. Then we will have to make way.
Fred says the weather.
Okay, so let's do the weather real quick. A summary of it as we have it from the Ghana Meteorological Agency. Partly cloudy conditions are expected across sectors of the country this morning. Is it like a recycled? Because like same wedding and everything.
Don't worry.
Or that's how it's supposed to be.
That's a template, so you just have to fix.
All right. So let me just ignore that and let's go to the cities. Aflao, Accra, Kaswa, Cape Coast, Takoradi, Eximho, Kofroidia, Akimoda, Kumasi, Obuasi, Seshibekwai, Ketekrachi, Kentampo, Sonya, Yendi, Tamale, Bole, Bogatanga, wherever you are, you can identify your city here. You can check out how it is going to be. In Aflao, for instance, it will be partly cloudy, morning mist and sunny later on. Same with Accra, really. There are chances of rains. The state of the sea is rough, has been indicated down the statement. So you might want to watch out if you're just holidaying and you want to hit the sea. But that's it by way of the weather. As we have shared, we're still counting down to 2019 AFCON. It's 2 more days.
Yep.
But listen, we haven't won any of the friendlies. The best we did was a draw. And I'm just wondering, is there anything to be excited about?
Yeah,
with
that
God,
is the reason. That I think personally, on a personal level, I've always not loved the Black Stars, and I don't think that I love them that much from the last time I did. But the thing is
it their play that you're talking about? Because when you say you don't love them, you have to explain.
It is the way they've always approached games. When we are at our peak in tournaments, it's like they tend to lose focus at that point, and that has broken the heart of many football fans, and so they have lost the support, culminating in the 2014 flight of, is it $3 million during Brazil? I think we don't have a good team. We don't have actually a team that can win the tournament. Well, but that is when we have to support the team.
Nana Asari Bediako will probably disagree with you. He comes up with sports with a lot of details and why we have a fair chance of winning the cup the first time in the
We don't have a fair chance.
So support the Black Queens.
Logic,
come on board and join the Black Queens.
Probability and all that.
We've got sports coming up. Stay with us.